Hello, dear students. Today we are going to get acquainted with the fairy tale about giants. Open your books at page 22, exercise 1. Answer the question: do you know of any tales about giants? Listen to the opinion.
I know a tale about Jack and the Beanstalk. In it, there is a giant who eats people. He lives at the top of a beanstalk and he has a singing harp and a goose that lays golden eggs. Jack climbs up the beanstalk, steals the goose, and goes back home. The giant comes after him, but Jack cuts the beanstalk down and kills the giant.
Now let's listen to the new words. Write down them in your vocabularies and don't forget to learn them by heart.
Awake, boiling, cool, enemy, eruption, fit, giant, huge, lava, legend, mysterious, myth, powerful, result, surface, terrified.
Volcanic. Wonder of nature.
Exercise 2. You are to listen the text and to do the exercise. Let's watch the video.
Finn McCool and the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway is a bridge of rocks between Ireland and Scotland. Most of the Giant's Causeway is under the sea. So, how did it get its name? Well, according to an Irish legend, a powerful giant called Finn McCool built the causeway. Once there were two giants. Finn McCool lived with his wife in Ireland. Benandonna lived across the sea in Scotland. They were enemies. However, they couldn't cross the sea to fight each other. One day, Finn had an idea. He threw rocks into the sea and made a bridge. After this, he was very tired, so he went to sleep. Over the sea, in Scotland, Benandonna started running across the bridge. Finn's wife tried to wake her husband, but she couldn't. She decided to dress him in baby's clothes. When Benandonna arrived, he saw the sleeping baby. Then he imagined the huge size of the father and was terrified. He ran back home over the causeway. As he ran, he pulled up the rocks to stop Finn following him to Scotland. Scientists don't believe the Giant's Causeway is the result of a story like this. They believe a volcanic eruption created the causeway over 50 million years ago. The boiling lava pushed up through the ground and cooled into the shapes we see today.
Now you are to answer the questions. What is the Giant's Causeway? You see, it's a bridge of rocks between Ireland and Scotland. Why can't people walk to Scotland using the Giant's Causeway? They can't walk to Scotland because most of it is under the sea. Who built it and why? Legends say that an Irish giant called Finn McCool built it to cross the sea to Scotland. Who saved Finn from Benandonna and how? His wife's quick thinking saved him. She dressed him as a baby. When his enemy Benandonna saw him, he thought that the father would be huge compared to the size of the baby. He was so scared that he ran away. How was the Giant's Causeway created according to scientists? According to scientists, a volcanic eruption created it over 50 million years ago. In exercise 3, we are to work with our vocabulary. Please complete the sentence with new words. Number 1. Finn McCool was a very powerful giant. Everyone was scared of him. He managed to fit tall pieces of rocks together, two from the bridge. Benandona was terrified when he saw the giant baby. A volcanic eruption formed the Giant's Causeway, according to scientists. The Giant's Causeway is a wonder of nature. Exercise 4. We are going to remember adverbs of degree. They are quite, rather, very, really. They go before adjectives. And to, enough. To comes before adjectives, enough come after adjectives. Let's look at the examples. Adjective plus enough, positive meaning.
Today the sea is windy enough for Andrew to surf.
To plus adjective, negative meaning.
The Smiths are going to have a picnic by the lake. Unfortunately, the water is too dirty for them to swim.
Quite, rather, very, really. Come before adjectives, you see.
He is very skilled in playing the drums.
Now you are to choose the correct adverb. Finn's wife was smart enough to dress him in baby's clothes. The giant Benandona was too powerful for Finn to fight. Stories about heroes are quite interesting, but I prefer science fiction stories. Finn McCool was very strong and built a bridge out of rocks. In exercise 5, you are to listen some information about myths and legends and to fill the gaps.
Myths and legends. For those of you interested in strange and wonderful creatures, there's a great new book called Myths and Legends. It's by John Harris, and this new edition has more than 100 pages. It is full of amazing stories from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. This is also a beautiful book with over 50 fantastic colour photographs to go with the text. You can get this book at the bargain price of £12 from your local bookshop, or have a copy delivered to your door by ordering it online at www.great-reads.com.
In exercise 6, we are going to learn how to make a narration. We are to make notes from the text about the story. You see, the main characters are Finn McCool, a giant, his wife, and Benandora, another giant. Where he and they lived. We know that Finn McCool and his wife lived in Ireland, and Benandora lived in Scotland. How the story began. Finn McCool and Benandora were enemies, but they couldn't cross the sea to fight. What happened next? Finn had the idea to build a rock bridge across the sea. He made him tired, so he went to sleep. What was the main event? While Finn was sleeping, Benandora ran across the bridge. Finn's wife couldn't wake her husband, so she dressed him as a baby. When Benandora saw the size of the sleeping baby, he imagined the size of Finn. He got scared. What happened in the end? Benandora ran back to Scotland, pushing down the stones after him, so Finn couldn't follow. So you are to use these notes to tell the story of Finn McCool. Don't forget about sequence of events. When telling a story, use words and phrases like once, one day, after this, then and then, when, before, in the end, to show the sequence of events and to help your story flow. Listen to the model.
Once there was a giant called Finn McCool, who built a rock bridge from Ireland to Scotland. Finn lived in Ireland, and his enemy, Benandonna, lived over the sea in Scotland. They couldn't cross the sea to fight. One day, Finn threw rocks into the sea and made a bridge. After this, he was tired, so he went to sleep. Then, Benandonna started running across the bridge. Finn's wife tried to wake him, but he didn't, so she dressed him in baby's clothes. When Benandonna saw the sleeping baby, he imagined the size of the father. He was scared. In the end, Benandonna ran back to Scotland and pushed down the rocks so Finn couldn't follow him.
And now, exercise 7. Your task is to imagine you went to Ireland and you visited the Giant's Causeway. Write an email to your English-speaking pen friend about it. You are to write where you went, what it looked like, what the legend says, what you thought, how you felt. Listen to the model and write your email.
Dear Max, I'm back from Ireland. I had a wonderful time and I visited some great places, but the best was the Giant's Causeway. It's a rock bridge that stretches from Ireland to Scotland. It's made of thousands of rocks that fit together to make a surface you can walk on. It leads out into the sea. There is a legend that a giant called Finn McCool built the bridge to cross the sea to Scotland to fight his enemy. It was amazing. I felt so small standing on it. I took lots of pictures for you to see. See you soon. Ulan.